3190 Unsung Hero Award. Which corresponded with the World Disability Day as recognized by the UN. So I'm very proud to know Pranav, and at this point, I'd like to invite Pranav to come up and speak.
Very good morning, friends. So glad to meet everyone being present in this Global Autism Convention 2018. So once again, very good morning to all. So before starting this event in my journey of autism, I would like to thank two persons. One is Mrs. Jayashree Ramesh, ma'am of Asha Assessment Training and Guidance Center, Bangalore, and Nelson sir of Marshall University, West Virginia, US, who had given me a great opportunity of presenting about my life journey and what are the challenges I had overcome. So thank you both. Thank both of them. I thank both of them for the journey of opportunity of presentation. Thank you, sir. So I'm Pranav Rajgopal. I'm from Bangalore. I have done my education till my post graduation in Bangalore. My work progressions begin from SAP Labs through Enable India from Autism at Work 1 program, Autism at Work Wave 1 program as an intern for 4 months, and I got and I worked at Vindhya Info Media for 3 months as a data entry operator, and I got the internship through them as in MISIS for 10 months. Presently, I am working at Cisco. Presently, I'm working at Cisco 1 year and 4 months completed. So this is my career progression. So some of my past challenges. I was diagnosed at the age of 4 years as a mild autistic child, where I had a lot of challenges. One is lack of eye-to-eye contact. That was my first challenge, where I was not able to interact with my family, friends, as well as teachers in schools and colleges, where everybody used to pinpoint me that this person, everybody used to pinpoint me that I'm not able to face each other. So that made me more and more sad. Next point is too dependent on others. For when the teachers are dictating the notes, I was not able to copy on very fast. I was slow in writing, but I was dependent on my classmates for each and everything, because academics or any completion, I was dependent on them. I was not very independent on myself that time. So everybody took as an advantage, and they mocked at me and friends or any of my neighbors. So my sister told me, why can't you venture out around the Bangalore city, where you can able to find out the place on your own, that will give you confidence. So first time when I started venturing out in the two-wheeler, so I had that nervous and anxious, what will happen to me. So I had that assumption. So when I first went, because the Bangalore traffic is first of all very pathetic. So then I decided, okay, if there's a pothole or something else, we have to take another shortcut where we can reach our destination on time and on time. Next, working without help from others. I had this for small things like drafting letters or anything. I was dependent on my family members as well as friends, and many of them. So I decided we have to do ourselves this small job. Otherwise, if you do on ourselves, it will be more useful. Like asking somebody else, it is not very nice. Like if we do the mistakes, no problem, we can learn from it. We should be, internally I decided we have to be more self-reliant and self-dependent. Organizing and planning practice. This is another thing where if I want to organize any things, I will plan well in advance and more systematically on previous day itself. That is my way of approach. Like tomorrow, what is the activity? So I plan it before 1 day. So whereas I won't get the nervousness and anxious. Understanding my autism diagnosis. According to a business point of view, it's a SWOT analysis, like strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Where which is my strength and which is my challenges, where I can identify which I have to overcome. So these were the feedback which has been given by my mentors, where I took it in positive spirit So it gave me a lot of confidence and independence, so that I had to do this, I had to behave very professionally. So these were the things I got it, like understanding my diagnosis. And interview preparations. So interview preparations, I watched many Enable India videos where how they crack the interview and how they find out the solution for every problem. So how they find out the solution for every problem, and seeing about the case studies of especially every people, how they have achieved in their life. So that was more inspiring and motivating to me. Tips for young people with autism. So one more, friends, tips for young people with autism is every children with autism should be included in group activities, whether it is indoor or outdoor games. Like they should never be excluded in any situation. Like they should be given equal opportunity in playing things, because that will make them feel more confident and satisfied. Like we are playing in the group, we are having a good friends. Like we are doing some good, we are playing some game activities. So they'll feel that happiness. Develop their hidden talents. Like some are good in pursuing music, or some are good in pursuing some are good in drawing, or some are good at craft and innovative and creative craft work, where we have to encourage and bring their hidden potentials outside. So that will make them feel more and more happier. And making their own decisions. According to the parents, they have to give them a time to take their own decision on their own, what they want to do in future, what their likes and dislikes, what is their comfort level. So parents have to give some time to think what they want to do in future. And take on responsibilities. Give some additional responsibilities to your children when they are in home. Like example, sending them to a provision shop to buy some groceries, or asking them to pay them utility bills like electricity or telephone bill, which will make them more and more committed to their work every month. So they don't have to, you don't have to tell them that you have to go and pay this. They will only have that, I want to pay this bill on every month. They'll have that commitment. Ask for if help needed. Like small things they should be able to manage on themselves. But if it is a situation, if it is a tough situation where they are not able to take any action, they are not able to take any decision, that time parents and family support is required. Till then, small things let them manage on them. If the mistake happens, no problem. Pursue their own passions. After their schooling, they have different passions that I want to excel in this field, I want to excel in that field. But parents should never force them which they are not interested. That taking this field you have to go, you should not go in this field. So never have to discourage them. They can tell whichever field they are comfortable, parents should also encourage. So tips for others is, do not judge. If a person with autism cannot do something, in the society or organization, wherever we go, everybody has an assumption that autism person cannot do anything. They have this challenge. They don't know anything. Don't have this false assumption. That will really reduce their confidence level. So instead of showing a sympathy, show them an empathy. Means give them a chance in society. Like how everybody are excelling, they have to be given equal opportunities. Avoid criticizing. Like if they do any mistake, don't point out in public. That will make them more and more humiliating and embarrassing situation. But tell them private when they are alone. Tell them privately in kind words. They will feel very happier and they will try to correct their mistake. Use peer mentoring to help new employees with autism. According to my experience, when I joined first time Cisco, where my manager introduced to the mentor, where they taught me about basic orientation program, like which team I have to go and ask if there is an issue. You have to consult this team. If you have any problem, you have to ask this technical team. So these were the basic orientations which gave me independent and confident. Provide adequate training for new hires with autism. Like if you hire freshers from colleges, if you hire freshers from college grads, they should be given some separate mentorship and coaching, like what is the work need to be done and what they have to do. Some basic skills should be taught. Future dreams. Help all learn about their autism diagnosis and self-advocacy skills. In future, every children should be aware about what is their strength and what is their challenges. Where they can improve, and the suggestions can be given by good counselors and good mentors where they know very well. So they can tell that where is your son's strength and challenges. So they can help them and continue to develop leaders with autism. Leaders with autism should understand what is the problem of other person with autism is, and they should be in a position to give solution for every autistic children. If they are not in a position to give anything, they don't. If they don't know anything, no problem. They should not misguide them. Bringing training, support, and peer mentoring to school, colleges, and employers. Like we see everywhere, because there's a lack of slow learners in schools and colleges where they don't get proper attention. If you teach mathematical problem in front of 100 people, some may understand, some may not be in a position to understand. So you should ask them, where is your challenge? In which area you feel more challenging? So then you have to teach them after the classes in a faculty room. Then they will understand step by step. And proper mentoring and coaching and counseling should be required for them, because they will excel in their academics. Because without that, only many of them are not able to excel in their academics. So that they should be learned. And develop a community center for young adults with autism. I request this, that is my future dream. Like we have to develop this community center for young adults with autism in and around the locality, which is accessible to their parents, where they don't have to go very far away, spending their precious time and energy. So which should be near to them, in and around them. So last but not the least, autism is to be renamed as Goldism. Here onwards, nobody should be calling us an autistic boy as he's an autistic boy, he's a mind autistic. No, it is not required. You have to call him as Goldism. They are something like a gold. It's like a chemical formula of chemistry. They are a gold. They are something special. They remember everything. Like example, they are good in remembering dates and events. They are good in remembering some anything. Like if you ask which day I met you, so they are remembering something. So we have to encourage them. So and last and one more thing is, alone I can't, but together we can. We can spread this awareness towards in this country and make everyone sensitized about autism. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. I would like to thank Mrs. Jeshri Ramesh, ma'am, and Nelson sir, who has given me a great opportunity of talking about my journey in the autism. And thank you for your patience listening, friends. Next slide will be continued by Nelson sir. Thank you.
So just last, before we take some questions, Pranav put together some local resources that you might be interested in. One is Enable India, which he mentioned several times, and probably many of you are aware of. Prayas Lab, Asha Assessment Training and Guidance Center, Ishanya India Foundation, Amaze Charitable Trust. We'll leave this up so you can copy those down if you need to. And if you're looking for actual print material, the Integrated Self-Advocacy Curriculum is very nice curriculum. I believe Asha has a copy, so if anybody wants to see that, there should be one there. And then another great one is called Ask and Tell. And that's by a gentleman named Stephen Shore from the States. He edited that with many others, adults with autism. We thank you so much for coming to this, and we can't wait to see how India, Bangalore develop in the future. Thank you.
Very special school like Asha Academy, which is in Bangalore. You can find in Kerala where they will take autism and slow learners and give them some responsibilities and make them understand the things better and give them some chance to understand. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
My question from Pranav. In your experience, what has been the role of the family members in self-advocacy training? And are there any self-advocacy training or mentoring for the members as well, except the procedure?
Oh, sure. Okay. Question was, how does the family play a role in self-advocacy? And then, is there any training or support for those that support people with autism? Yes, okay. So yes, definitely, the family plays kind of a dual role, if not more. And that is protect but allow at the same time. So it is shelter but empower. It is understand and let them go explore, both at the same time. You have to I'm sure Pranav was your experience. You grew up in a very loving home, lots of coaching from your sister and your mom and your dad. But at the same time, your sister told you, get on that two-wheeler and go ride. Get out into the city. So the dual role is protector, but also empower, letting go and trusting, those kind of things. That's a big step, and it's scary. But you have to allow people to make their own mistakes. They have to. That's how we all learn. We all learn by crashing our motorbike a little bit. When I heard that you learned how to ride a motorcycle in Bangalore, my respect for you is like. The other thing is, so the allies training. It's sometimes we refer to people that support as an ally, but that's by the person's choice. They choose those in their lives that they want to ask for support. And yes, there is a delicate balance there as well, because it's very tempting for us to step in and claim power. It is very alluring when somebody asks for help for us to come in and take power from them. When really our role is to understand who they are, what they want, and my tiny role in how to make that happen. No power for me, just there as a friend or support and ally. I hope that gives you some place to start. But really it starts with knowing the person and what they want and respecting and valuing that over what I want.
Hi, my question is for Pranav.
Yes, so
My interest is in understanding if there were any specific breakthroughs across your, from the time you were a kid to right now, are there any specific incidents? One of them you mentioned was that one day you decided that you don't want to take the help of a lot of other people.
So, like, I was dependent on my family members, like, for everything, so, but I made up my mind why we have to ask them every time. So, I got, okay, we have to do the small things on our own and doing individually. Why we have to ask them every time to help? If it is a very tough situation, that time we can ask them the suggestion and concern. So, the small activities we can only do it by ourselves. That will make me more and more confident. So, I learned in that aspect. So, even now.
So,
Yeah, tell me so.
so great. Another question is, okay, I'm definitely interested in any other events.
So any other events is
but
like everybody used to play, but I was the only person I was being avoided by everyone because I'm not good at playing. They used to exploit me a lot, like taking my playing things and making me alone. They're not allowing me to play also. So that should not happen to anyone.
great.
That is my.
So, also interested in how did you exploit your special talents, such as the ones to remember the dates, events,
So that is
or any other capabilities? Any way you found it applicable to be used effectively?
So, but I came to know about like whoever I met in any gate, I can remember. So, like after even I can, if I meet any person in any date and year, I can remember it like. It is like something I have that special talent for because my friends always used to tell, oh, Pranav is good in remembering dates and events and he's the first person to wish for everyone's birthday. So that is the only thing I remember. But that is my special talent, sir. But it is like remembering dates and events or remembering something else. It's like it is my special talent, sir. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, one and all. I am Pranav's sister. Just wanted to say a couple of words. Because I heard questions from one of you about how the family manages autistic children. I'm a neurosurgeon, and trust me, that being a doctor doesn't have any advantage in managing autistic people over any of you. First of all, I would like to tell you that it is not a one-day event, like all of us know. This is going to be a lifelong challenge, and patience is the only key. And it is repetition, and more repetition. Because I have seen days where Pranav has come back from interviews where he was not. Forget the selection. It's the acceptance and acknowledgement. That is what I think these people really miss as a part of this society. And we have seen him rejected, heartbroken. But I think the only thing that has pulled him through is constant support. There have been days where every other day he would get back into thinking the same thing over and over again. I mean, the incident happens once, but you die 1,000 more times just by remembering the incident. It is true with all of us. And it is more so in people with this problem because of the low self-esteem that they naturally have. So the only thing we can do is not react, stay with them and say, it's going to be okay. Yes, this going to be okay statement is not going to happen once. It has to happen every day and probably 1,000 times every day. And trust me, that is the only thing that is going to get you through with these people. And about the hidden talents, somebody from there asked about how to find out what the child is good at. Basically, all these children will have some form of hand-motor coordination issues. So from a younger age, apart from the regular schooling, what we can all concentrate on is on vocational training aspects, which will not only help them to find out what their talent is, because it is not like it's a very evident thing. In normal individuals itself, the so-called talent part, we don't know who's good at what, unless it is specifically found out. In most of the cases, we're not talking about the exceptions here. So for these children, try to put them in more vocational cases, vocational things such as even carpentry, modeling, sculpture, anything that they can do with their hands. Now, if you're going to ask me, how do I select? Well, it is dependent on the child. If the child wants to go ahead with something as simple as sculpture carving or painting or anything to do with their hands, or something that is going to help them with their hand motor coordination, don't think, just allow them to do it. So with time, probably or possibly, we might end up knowing what it is that the child actually is interested in. Not what he's good at, because what he's good at is another different aspect to it. What is the child interested in? Once we identify that interest, hone that interest, because it's not enough if you have that interest. Because today, what interest is there, tomorrow might not be there. It is a waxing waning phenomenon. So make sure you push, you encourage that child towards that interest. And probably for all you know, he might become excellent in that particular field that he's interested in, however small or big. See, 10, 15 years ago, the concept of job itself was restricted to just medicine or engineering. Today it is not so. Today it's definitely not so. We have a wide range of job availability, or even without a job, even entrepreneurships. There are a wide range of entrepreneurships. Not everybody needs to be an Infosys chairman or a TCS chairman to start off something big. You can start off something extremely small and do brilliant with it. So allow the child to grow, like how Sir said. It is empower, but at the same time protect and empower. I've always said what Sir has said. Allow them to fall. Allow them to make mistakes. Allow them to do the mistakes in front of your eyes so that they don't do it outside. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. As a mother, I have faced a lot of challenges along with Pranav. In fact, at that age, when he was diagnosed as autistic child at the age of 4, he didn't understand what it was. But the more suffering was for the parents. Wherever we go, we would get insulted for the small mistakes these children do in the school, or the other children who provoke him, he would use harsh words. For that, I would be getting complaints. And all the insults we have faced, and nobody in the school level said, nobody still believes that he has completed his MCOM at a regular institution, not in any special category or so. He has done in a regular course along with others. But nobody in the school or anybody, any doctor whom I consulted, nobody gave me the assurance that he is going to pass even 5th standard. So I was in Canara Bank and I quit my job, sat with him for another 15 years. So that today I feel so happy that is the only consolation. I would have lost financially a huge amount, but his success has vanished all my sufferings. So, first thing I would request the parents or the people who guide, to first give tips to the mothers not to be depressed about this, they feel that they are ashamed or ready to accept that their child is having a problem. I faced it in the family. When I wanted to take him for an intervention to various doctors and psychiatrists and psychologists, nobody accepted that he had a problem. Even my husband didn't agree. So at that time, my daughter was school going girl. She was not a doctor. So with all the people's wishes against, I took him for intervention. Of course, I got guidance from my sister who is a psychiatrist in Chennai. She's Dr. Mangala in SCARF. So she told me, no, there is some problem with Pranav. You have to have an early intervention, she said. But none of us in the family was ready to accept. With everybody's wishes against, I took him to various places. And 25 years back, I can confidently tell, Bangalore didn't have this much of support for autistic children, and I was in search of a special school for Pranav, going around. But before I could find out, he completed his schooling. So I couldn't find out, because this awareness, I'm glad at least now that awareness has come, and I'm still more glad that Pranav has got more interest to help somebody who has suffered like that. So that's really a very good thing to be appreciated in Pranav. And I also, to whatever extent possible in the neighborhood, or I go for a few schools for teaching abacus. So there also, when we come across children who are very slow, when we tell that to the parents, no, first of all, we have to give counseling only to the parents. First step is that, more than identifying the problem of the child, the counseling should be done only for the parents, because they refuse to accept what we tell, and whatever tips or guidelines that we tell also, they are not ready to follow. And for Pranav's betterment, to remember things, somebody was asking, I have done my MA in history and postgraduate diploma in business administration. So I had a flair for teaching history, and he was very good in that subject, except science and maths. So he had an inward interest when I was repeatedly telling about the events, about world history events and Indian history events. No, he had a lot of liking towards history. So maybe because of that, he is able to remember so many dates and events. That has developed that passion in him. And some subject the child will be good at, that's what. And for him to understand, and repetition is the best medicine. For his sake, I started a small group of tuitions up to 10th, and some 8 or 9 children who were all very, very weak. They were scoring only single digit, and they didn't have any autistic problem and all. But they were below average children in scoring. But with them, each one improved, because one answer, if we make a small group to repeat some 6 or 7 times, no, that repetition is the only remedy for whoever asks you, or how, in whatever way. See, all said and done, academics is not the only thing for success, but academics is the most essential thing also. So finally, they should be able to pass out an exam. So for that, at least these tips, if we make them repeat, if you have a small competitive group to make them repeat the answers, no, that will register in their minds, which I have tried and experienced, and it has become successful. So I know that so many of you are here, I mean, very well advanced and doctorates and so many educated people. I have nothing in front of you. But still, I wanted to share a few experiences which I had. Thank you.
I just wanted to, Pranav? Yeah, that was wonderful. That was wonderful. I enjoyed your talk. My question is to Mr. Andrew. I wanted to check with you about the cross-cultural differences that you have found in families letting professionals or themselves telling their kids about the nature of their diagnosis or their deficits.
Okay.
What are the barriers that you found there and the barriers you found here?
Okay.
And I wanted to ask the family, and that's the sister. I wanted to check with you around what age did mom and you decide that Pranav better know?
From the at the age of 4.
I think from the time he was pretty much diagnosed, I mean 4 years, 3, actually it's not just 4, I think even before that he was diagnosed because we had a doctor at home. But I think we started telling Pranav once he could start understanding things, that not about autism per se, but that you have to probably put a little more effort and you are not like the other kids, because there was always a comparative note from school. The rest of the kids can do this, you can't do that. Rest of the kids are able to analyze, understand and reproduce this, but you're not able to do this. So we always used to say that, yes, there is a problem and you have to do this to probably overcome that. But the word autism, I guess, as he grew up with time,
We never used that word to him when he was young. We never used that word to him when he was young.
She would be able to tell it to you.
We never used the word autism to him at all for a very long time. We said, no, some children grasp things faster, you are a little slow. So nothing to worry, you can improve. You are on the average level. So definitely the more sustained work, systematic work, will make you understand things better. What he would do, generally I have seen many children, they would not read the questions at all in the question paper, and when they have read the heading, answer in 2 or 3 lines. Out where he has to answer 8 questions, he would be mistaking that as he has to answer only 3 questions. Many a time it has happened, and I told him first read the heading twice. So many tips only when you teach such children, we will experience and know. Yes, thank you.
It's a very good question, and it's a very delicate question because it's the individual right of any mother or father to make that choice while their son or daughter is young. Cultural barriers, where I'm from, we have a lot of media right now, movies, TV shows that focus on autism. It's out, it's in the environment, it's in the media, it's everywhere. And so I think the cultural stigma is less there. I definitely still feel, and I'll just be very straightforward on it, again, no judgment whatsoever, but there still is, I think, a cultural shame. I think there still is a cultural fear about letting others know that your son or daughter might be different. But I think just in the 10 years I've been here, I've seen great improvement. And stories like those media stories, Pranav telling his story, events where people see people with autism in valued roles, like we've learned about this week at training, is making a big difference. And that's what we need to do more of. I think what I would like to see, just personally, is people with autism bringing the news to the young people. So why should it come from somebody that's outside of their culture? And I think Bangalore specifically has people that can help with that, where if you're ready to share the diagnosis and help your son or daughter discover their identity with autism or any other disability, maybe we should incorporate the voice of somebody that's lived it rather than just us telling them. I think that might really help destigmatize it, show them that there is a culture there, that they belong to a tribe, and I think that helps a lot.
Hello. My question is to Mr. Andrew Nelson. Here.
Okay.
I just wanted to know at West Virginia Learning Center, what you have a structured program, it's a day center or it's a residential, and how do you go about it? Do you sort of hone the skills or groom a person? How do you go about it?
So we are a state-funded direct services program where we receive funding to go out into the entire state and serve people in their homes and communities. So that's one aspect, is a community-delivered service. So a person registers with our agency, and then we go meet their need in their community. We send trainers out to go do the work there. We also have community-based trainings for teachers, broad-based community capacity building, basically. We have an on-site university program, a college program for people with autism. where people come and they receive a little bit of support, live in the dorms, graduate with a regular degree, just with some support from our center to get through everyday life and navigate talking to professors and things like that. So we're a statewide program that's doing both direct services in the community, and we have a college program where people come to the university to actually study and get a degree.
So how about your overseas program? That is also funded by the state?
Coming here?
Yeah.
It's been more private funded. It's my own interest.
Thank you.
Although this time they did provide support because I was sharing some of the research that we had done as part of my doctoral work. So they are very excited. Very few of them know anything about India, so I'm excited to go back and say, oh, you don't know what you're missing.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. So we've come to the end of this session.
So, where is this person with on the spectrum? Well, we have different kinds of people in this photograph, and one of them is a person with autism. Since everybody met Pranav. Pranav, this is a bad example. I shouldn't have kept this example.
No problem.
Anyway, so the whole idea of the training is that professional individuals who can contribute to the company, and more importantly, who are respected and included. That's our goal. So if you could just give the mic to Puvama. Yeah. So Puvama actually is the mentor to Pranav. So it's, I completely forgot that you were going to be there today. So it's actually a good link, Pranav. Yeah, so Puvama,
Thank you.
I think the first question I have to ask you, and then you can run your PPT, is that when our team came over, before that you came to know that a person with autism is joining your team, and then you were just mentioning earlier how the peer sensitization and self-advocacy helped. If you can just talk about that, and then you can just tell your role as mentor and how you've been coaching Pranav, and how, I think the kind of slides you have are amazing, so I want you to get time for that.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here in the capacity of a mentor for Pranav, and it's a pleasure to be here. So as Shanti ma'am rightly said, when we got to know that Pranav is joining our team, even we had behavioral confusions on how do we actually behave with him, accept him, or how do we mingle with Pranav. So then we had the session from Enable India, which really helped us understand what is the spectrum all about, and what do we have to expect from Pranav, and what are we supposed to do, or how are we supposed to behave with him. So this really helped us understand ourselves better and present ourselves accordingly in front of the person who's there with autism.
And the self-advocacy, you can just mention.
Yeah, after that, once Pranav joined, we gave him a month's time. So then he was under observation, and he was also asked to go through some of the Cisco-related details. So after that, he presented a self-advocacy session. So that really helped us understand what exactly he went through in that particular 1 month, and how he feels, and what are his behavioral patterns. So he told us, literally, it was quite practical. So he told us whenever he gets upset or angry, he just wants to walk out. Nobody should talk to him and disturb him, and then he feels better. So those things really helped us understand how do we have to work with him, and we kind of prepared a plan accordingly. And also we understood that he's good at dates and numbers, remembering dates, and good at doing repetitive work. So that's how we identified the kind of work we could give him, and then we gradually coached him, and then he's doing a good job.
Thank you so much for that. So let me now go through your presentation, which is about the actual how you helped in the whole coaching and getting integrated at the workplace. So if you can just.
Yeah. So initial challenges that we faced, is Pranav and me. So he used to face problems in memorizing the process that was told to him. So we planned, and I explained the process. It was a daily sessions that I used to conduct, and make him write it down and then put it in a soft copy. So we used to review that soft copy, and we have come up with a beautiful document now, which he just works independently. He doesn't need any help. So
Do you think you can use this with others also?
Absolutely.
That's more important.
Yes.
When once you do something like this, you find like, damn it, I'm going to use it with everybody.
Very true.
Yeah.
And then the other issue we had was, again, because there's a lot of work involved where he has to work on Excel, Microsoft Excel, which involves a lot of formulas. Again, he was finding it tough to understand the logic or the to remember the formulas basically. So I explained him the logic, the result of the formula, what we are trying to attain, and then made him write down the formulas. And he used to go through them every day, practice it as well when during his free time. So this helped him being thorough now. He's kind of puts his own. If I say Pranav, put a VLOOKUP formula and give me this result, he does it within few minutes. Doesn't take much time. So the next thing is he has issues in whenever his job also involves sending emails to various stakeholders to interact with. So he does a governance job of purchase orders that Cisco has, and he handles 5 locations globally. One is India, China, Europe, and Mexico and US. Yeah, actually yes, it's not that easy, but he's doing a wonderful job. So this involves a lot of email activities where he has to write mails to people, seek their confirmations on certain things, and when they respond with, if there's a straightforward response, that's fine. But sometimes most of the emails come back with the response which he has to again respond back. So there he used to find some challenges to understand and what does he has to actually decide on that email. So then I kind of found out that there are certain keywords. I helped him with some keywords to search in the email. If those are there, this is what you're supposed to do. Otherwise, this is what you're supposed to do. So that really helped him. Initially he had doubts, but that really helped him later on.
Don't you feel that for every employee candidate we need an includable person in the company? So we have to build the competencies even at the company. She turned out to be natural, but that's one of the efforts we need to do more and more of building this competency. And we'll be using humor for that, just on the stage.
The next issue we faced was he was not sure what to respond on the emails for what the mails he receives. So we I helped him prepare case studies because they are our stakeholders. It's very important we give a proper response to them because we can't let them know what is there on the background, right? So I used to respond on his behalf and made him prepare case study. So go through that case study, we used to review and show what I have responded does that match with what he has done, the case study. So initially, there were a lot of corrections, and later on, he really picked it up as well.
Was it very important that you gave feedback? Because what if you have not given the feedback? Because I want this point to bring it up again.
Yes. Feedback is an integral and very important part of our day-to-day work. So I don't think there's a single day where it has gone past by without a feedback. There are many situations where I have to give him corrective feedbacks as well as feedback for the good job done. So, and he's very, very positive in taking all the feedback, and he tries to repeat whatever has been told and understand and ensure that he has understood what I've told. He asks me again, and then he comes back with a plan the next day on a soft copy. This is what I've prepared and this is what I'm planning to do, and he implements that. The feedback is very important.
So, if you can just very quickly go through the slides. I think wonderful that you brought these snapshots. You'll never get this kind of level of detail,
So this is one of the process documents that Pranav has himself prepared and we reviewed, and this is what he uses for his daily work. So there's step-by-step process that he has to do on the work that he's expected to complete.
Wonderful document.
Yeah, this is this is the Excel worksheet that Pranav builds. This is again a very small snapshot.
This is how complicated. This is real work, folks. In the real world, we have to do really complicated stuff.
True. So this is a very small snapshot. Actually, that's a very huge report which I could plug in there. And these are the notes that Pranav has taken on the formulas, and we also have the soft copies which he practices whenever he gets a free time.
Decent handwriting, Pranav?
Yeah, my handwriting.
This is what I love. I really love.
And these are the keywords that we try to help him find in the email. The highlighted ones where it says can be closed if there is a keyword which says can be closed, he has to take certain certain actions there. If it has to be keep it open, do not close. So certain instructions which he has noted down. So he follows accordingly, independently, and does his work without any issues.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So I think, this is the case study you were talking about.
Yeah, this is one of the examples of the case study that he had prepared. And anyway, as you can see, he's very good at Word or Excel or typing and his language. I really appreciate that. He's very good. He's put a lot of efforts and appreciate his mom as well, who has trained him.
Big
Really well. So he's basically doing a good job. Initially, he used to be very dependent.
Yeah.
And I would also like to mention our manager's support here.
Absolutely.